Welcome to the Rate and See podcast. My name is Jeff. Today we're going to be talking about the movie The Drama with Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. I bring on my friends Marcel and Caitlin, and this is a moment that a lot of people who have been following me have been waiting for because I'm going to talk about a movie that I didn't hate or think was just flat out terrible. I really enjoyed it. I found it very entertaining and thought-provoking, but there have been revelations about the director that really forces you to look at the meanings behind this movie in a new light. So we are going to do that. We are going to pick apart each piece of this movie and discuss it. So sit back and enjoy. We're back for round two.
Round two, baby.
Look at you put on your podcasting face.
I was going to say.
What was your podcasting face? Do it again.
Listen.
He perked up. He's like, oh, we're live
I need
now.
to see
Oh, yeah, so we're live now. Oh, you should see me behind the bar. Literally, when it's time to perform, now I'm on. Now I'm on now. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you're one of those guys that, let's go.
I said, okay, now it's time
Get
to be.
these tips.
That's a true actor right there.
Shoot, now it's time to go. I didn't know we were recording before, but now that I'm ready, see? My whole energy changes. My whole thing
So, we tried this, this 2 episodes. This is the life of a new podcast. We will befell tragedy until, we get our licks and learn how to do this right. The first time, Marcel had a miscommunication with the movie. The second time,
Oh, true.
we do the whole... We do the,
I like it.
the second time,
I like getting involved.
the second time,
Wait.
we do 2 hours of podcast and it stops recording for some reason. So...
Well, no, you got 27 seconds. I think you said 25 seconds.
We recorded 27 seconds, but I didn't find that to be enough to actually upload. So
There was no quality up in that?
No.
We're back for round two.
Let's get it.
We are talking about The Drama.
The drama. Second time.
Yep. With Zendaya, Robert Pattinson. And the benefit of this is that we have had extra time to collect our thoughts and really, really drill down on this.
Let it ruminate.
I think the place to start is with the drama of the drama, and that is the director's hidden past that came
His
out.
creepy ass.
It was more of a shock the first time.
It really was.
To summarize, 6 days, I think, before the movie comes out, there is a leak that he took it upon himself to write a letter to the Norwegian version of Wall Street Journal where he romanticizes a relationship that he had with a 16-year-old when he was 26, and I think he was 27 when he wrote the article, and this was 13 years ago, and is very glowing about it, kind of likens it to he sets it up by saying that there's 200 some movies that describe a May-December romance where it's almost like he's saying we shouldn't be too hard on stuff like this.
On pedophiles.
Yeah. I mean,
Let him rock.
yeah, not a pedophile, but it's inappropriate relationship. It's adjacent. It's
Also,
adjacent.
have there been 200 movies?
Yes, that's what it starts with. I'm sure he did the research.
Oh, yeah, before
I'll
to
tell you
justify his
I'll tell you that
his
much.
actions, yes.
He's repeatedly talking about watching Woody Allen movies, and if you know anything about Woody Allen, he married his 18-year-old stepdaughter. Another one accused him of touching her when she was 7 years old.
Oh my god, really?
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there was so he
He's
had
a serial creep.
Yeah, well, then it got it never got brought to charges because he one of his his other adopted kids, the one he married was from his girlfriend's previous relationship, and this was his adopted daughter, and the other son that he adopted too went on to say that the mom brainwashed her against him, but she's never dropped it the whole time.
Wait, pause. He adopted the girl that he's married to?
No.
It was
No.
It was
That's
that's
why
okay.
Mia
I was going to
Farrow's-
say that has to be
it was
some
Mia
legal-
Farrow's first adopted daughter
Child,
from the
yeah.
previous relationship.
Oh.
And then when she got with Woody Allen, they adopted 2 kids and had one of their own. But then right after Mia Farrow found out that
crazy.
he married the her first daughter from the first marriage relationship, then she came forward with the other daughter saying that he touched her inappropriately, and it was a whole thing. It went back and forth. They were never able to find out the truth of it or not. Then you find out years later that he's really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
That's the kicker.
And I think that's that's the cherry on top.
Nail in the coffin.
As
So we're-
everybody
yeah.
apparently was.
Let's give the director every benefit of the doubt that we could possibly give him.
You can.
So,
Or no.
Well, no. I'm saying, no.
Okay.
I'm saying for the sake of
The
conversation
argument,
and discourse on the subject.
Yes.
Let's say that like he didn't know anything about Woody Allen, that he just like was charmed by his movies, kind of drank the Kool-Aid, and let's say that also, yes, sure, like he, in his article here, his letter, he says that like he was like emotionally, mentally stunted, and that she was very mature because she's from the city, he's from the country, and
we love mature 16-year-olds.
I wish somebody would tell me I'm immature when I'm 16 I'm from Boston.
Well, that's probably part of the game.
Yeah.
Let's say sure their relationship was like to him seemed very innocent, and maybe even to her seemed very mutually agreed upon or enjoyed, even though we know that like just because she's into it when she's 16 does not mean that it will not have negative impacts on her life going forward.
That part.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you said something about that last time, and that like...
Yeah, like that definitely happened to me before. Like when I was 16, I dated somebody that was like, I think he was like 23 at the time. So what is that? That's a
7 years.
7 year, but like it was just at the time it was like, oh, like I'm hot shit, you know what I mean? Like I got this old boyfriend. Then once you turn 23 and you like are like, wait a minute, I would never even blink at a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
You're like, holy shit, what was happening? Well, let's go back. Let's go back and try to think about like how creepy and how like that, like it was just
it's like,
so
what do you have in
off.
common when you're 23 with a 16-year-old?
No, nothing. Like he was definitely just like the entire time just like trying to find ways to have stuff in common with
And
me.
to manipulate
me.
I think the commonality is that they're both looking for validation, and that like he, just is like whatever, stunted, or just like doesn't have confidence. I think he said he was coming off of like a really long breakup or whatever, and he's like, it's low-hanging fruit at that point.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
A
He
girl,
did say that.
like a girl that's gonna like, think that you're like special and whatnot just by
older
virtue.
wham months maybe.
And
Yeah,
because,
so
like,
now let's like mentally destroy a 16-year-old because like my ex-girlfriend cheated on me.
Yeah.
Like and
Yeah.
my little heart's broken. Like
and then like, yeah, as a 16-year-old, I think like, a 16-year-old girl, like she, it's exciting for a 16-year-old girl to get this like validation from like a much older guy, because
Yeah.
you think that like, oh, like now I feel older, I feel more mature, I feel like an adult. So even if you give him all the benefits of the doubt, in those things, one, it's really bad that you're like, because he says in the article that his friends told him, like he knows that this is not right. So why you're like writing, so you're offering this information to the world, like it's this thing that everybody has agreed upon societally that it is not good, but yet you think that like you should like be publicly advocating for it. And then two, it's the fact that like he has not said anything since this has dropped, like at all.
But maybe he thinks this movie is like
his answer.
I don't think there's any possible way that he wasn't involved in the leak, because the timing of it is so perfect to where it comes out like this has probably been hanging over his head his entire life, and he's wondering how he's got to deal with it. He makes this movie and then, gets this leak at the exact perfect time so that he doesn't have to answer for it in any of the promotional stuff. And the movie's got to drop because everything's already been done. The train is leaving the station, and then the movie can kind of like do his explaining for him, and it actually draws hype to the movie.
100%.
But
Gets
like,
all the creeps to
but
go.
the thing is like, this is a thing where he should take his own advice. The movie makes so many points that he himself is not following by staying silent on this, and we'll cover all of that. So we'll go run through this. We'll start at the beginning. They meet from Robert Pattinson, who is playing Charlie. He sees Zendaya, who is playing Emma, at a coffee shop, and when she gets up, he snipes what book she's reading. I looked it up. It's not a real book. It's called The Danger. And
she.
Wait, really?
Foreshadowing.
Yes.
There's a lot of foreshadowing that goes on in this
Oh
scene.
yeah, there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Not trends, but themes. I'll call out these themes as we come across them. So he looks up when she gets up. He snipes what book she's reading. He looks it up and then comes up to her after looking up the description so he can lie and say that he's really into the book just to have an icebreaker with her. She's deaf in one ear, so he thinks she's just ignoring him, and then eventually she notices him, and it's like really awkward. She has to explain that she's deaf, and she gives like he starts getting nervous, and this is our first theme, is that he kind of like looks around the room and like thinks that he's being stared at and judged. And that's a theme for Charlie throughout this whole movie, is that the most important thing for him is what other people are thinking of him, how he appears to the public around him and to other people. And our second theme is that she diffuses the situation by saying, do you want a do-over? Do you want to just go back down and sit down and
that starts that whole thing
and try this
she's
over?
Empathetic. She feels bad.
Yeah. Her, like she in this movie is kind of like the goddess of empathy. That is like her.
Not the goddess.
You know.
I love it. No, you're right. Yeah,
she is. Yeah. I mean, like that's like her. That's what makes her so like charismatic and magnetic.
Well, different from the other characters.
Yeah, what sets her apart from everybody else,
Yeah.
and kind of is this like shining light throughout the story, and gives you all like the good feelings that you have through this. And so they do a do-over, and then I loved the editing of this movie. I thought that some movies just like have a great ability to smoothly tell the story and like just suck you in.
Yeah.
You know, past the point of where it feels like here's a scene, and then here's another scene, and then here's another scene, and they're all just kind of like set pieces, like that you just feel like you're going through the motions. So they intercut this moment between like now Charlie is talking to his best friend Michael, and this is a story that they're telling in his speech for their wedding. So now they're about to get married, and then we jump to their first date, where she's talking about the book, of course, because like
he's already read it.
He tries to BS it at first, and then eventually, you know, like comes clean.
Yeah, and then it skips to the scene again with Mike, and he's like, so you didn't even read the book after? And he's like, yeah, but that would be weird. Like, lying about the book isn't weird, but like actually reading it.
And
for
I think
a lot of work for a first date.
Honestly, I do agree, but like, I don't know. I feel like there's something to be said there that they like.
No, I think that's our third theme, is that like in addition to Charlie being overly obsessed about like what other people think of him as his top priority, he also just does not show this lack of interest in making a genuine connection. Because if you're trying to like actually learn about this person, the real person behind, you would think, oh, here's this insight into something that they're very interested in, and I could explore that and try to discover more about her. But instead,
and read an entire book before.
No. You could read a description.
Yeah.
You could get ChatGPT to like give you like a five.
I mean, or he could have said it in like a cuter way.
Cliff notes.
He said it like almost like when she like he was like, yeah, I didn't read the book. Like he said it like dismissively, like yeah, I didn't read the book. Like I didn't have like you know what I'm saying. We're already on this date. I don't have to read
chapter 1. You know, like you could give some investment into trying to like understand this thing that she's into, but he doesn't. He's more just concerned with.
He secured the bag.
He's already on
the more date. Just like I
want to date with this baddie.
I'm trying to hit.
But that should have been a red flag for her.
Well, yeah. So then again,
we always ignore the red flags.
Again, in theme with Emma's character, she once again diffuses it. You know, whereas a normal person could be, you know, upset, see it as a red flag. She's just like, oh, like you're just like so like naughty, like you're just like, you know, she kind of just
dismisses it.
It. She diffuses it and just like.
I mean, it's easy to do that in the beginning.
She looks past
first date. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because it's like, what are you going to be like? Oh yeah, I'm not going on a second date with him because he didn't read the book. He didn't do his summer.
And then he goes on and talks more about like how much he loves this constant de-escalation from her, and that like there's a scene they flash to a scene where he's like really upset about some social interaction or something like that, and she totally diffuses it by pulling his pants down, and like, you know, he says, I love how she always turns my drama into a comedy. So
is that an actual line from the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cute. That's cute.
And then he like mentions that he's like, oh, I want to talk about like, you know, just how like good we are in bed. And
Weird.
Michael's
Like,
Michael's like, yeah, and like when he's like writing the speech.
Oh, he does end up doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But,
And
like,
and Michael's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, like you can't talk about how good the sex is.
Like,
at
you're
the
a
wedding.
weirdo.
And
It's
I
odd.
kind of saw that as like maybe like the director kind of like
Oh,
hinting-
with his letter, because in the letter,
hinting at his
Yes.
own kind of like, you know, maybe it's an omission from the director of his own kind of like preclusivity of focusing too much on physical attraction.
because didn't in the letter he like randomly mentioned something like about how
They would spend entire days
all
in,
naked,
stuff
yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
So-
and it was like kind of like I remember when we were first reading the letter, and I was like, that's like a weird, like that's so irrelevant to everything you're saying in this letter. Like, what you just want to be like, yeah, I'm naked with her.
So
Like-
yeah, so it seems like that might be kind of like, you know, a little peppering in of like himself in this Charlie character and an admission that like, you know, being a little too blinded by the physical. And then it cuts to her talking to her two friends.
Rachel.
One
yeah,
of her
her
enemies,
boss and
Rachel, that bitch.
her boss and Rachel, who I will say was like, Alana Haim was fantastic at making me hate her because
It's a good job. If an actor
You
can
know,
make you hate their
She's
character, it's a
always
good job.
most hated, and it's like she's a professional Karen.
No, but like I mean, that's a good job.
Yeah.
If you can make me hate your character, I'm just like, hey, that's
What is that called though when you're an actress or actor and you play like one
Typecast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's very typecast.
yeah. So and so the Rachel character, like you get some also like foreshadowing moments from her where she's kind of like being shady at the beginning because they're talking about like how Zendaya or Emma cries very easily, and she's like, oh, you don't want to cry because it'll make you look ugly. And then she tries to backtrack, and she's like, well, I mean, like, you know, like women in general look ugly when they cry. And
She said, I have to dismiss
then
this
she's
woman.
talking about like her boss, who's her other friend, says like, oh, what about your first date? And then Rachel like quickly is like, you can't talk about the first date, like, you know, as if like because he lied and because the way that he did it is
Like a
you know,
hater, like a true
not a girl's
hater.
girl. It's not a girl's
yeah.
No,
girl.
no.
She's kind of like the opposite of Emma in that like she can kind of like, you know, overlook things or just like, you know,
She's like,
de-escalate them or just kind of see the good in them. And she is more of this like character, which
cynic.
yeah, I imagine like the director kind of sees as like kind of like the judgmental like public at large, like a cancel culture type of thing, to where like, you know, the internet's gonna like, it's just like when you're talking to somebody that you don't really know through text at the very beginning, like you're like there's a natural inclination to
right,
like,
or like your own insecurities, like this like stupid little things that you think of in your head
Yeah.
that nobody else even noticed.
which
and
at the
it's
end of
like-
the day is it's a defense mechanism. And then they talk about the first kiss, and
I thought that first kiss was a cute story.
yeah, it's a romantic
Yeah.
little
I
like
thought it
that
was
should have
cute.
been
It
in
was-
the
it was
like
so-
for you to see that scene and then be like, oh yeah, that shouldn't have been in it. Like you're a hater. Like,
It's-
Yeah.
you
it's
are
su-
Rachel.
Yeah, because it's such a rare thing to happen. I was like, oh, that's cute.
yeah,
In a
it's this kind of like it's this
museum,
kind of
like-
authentic
The-
moment
yeah,
to where
authentic,
like
there we
clearly
go.
he's allowed to
The
get in because the
alarms.
key works on the first door. Like he's trying to bring her to the museum to like give her like a night at the museum experience and like go
A private
after dark.
tour in the museum.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And-
sexy.
Oh yeah. If you like, can you imagine a better first bone than like you're like under some dinosaur bones or something
Right.
like that?
Listen, I can't talk about so many things. My mom is
You're in
watching.
front. You're
me now.
you're like you're like
Yeah,
in
never
front.
mind.
You're like in front of a
Sorry,
Van
Mom.
Gogh or something
in front
like
of
that.
Van Gogh, in front of Mona Lisa, showing her my Lisa.
Yeah. They go in the front door, and then they get kind of like locked in between like the outside door and the second door because he works on the first one, doesn't work on the second one, and then he sets off the alarm, and now all the doors are locked. And as the alarms are going off, he just decides to make a move, get the first kiss, which is a romantic moment.
Hot.
But then
Hot.
Rachel just immediately is like, "Oh, so he like trapped you there?"
Like
Hater.
girl, like
energy.
just find something else. Like
Yeah.
what's
Hater.
wrong with
Can't
you?
be happy for
Yeah.
nobody because she's not
Sorry, you
happy.
and Mike have boring sex.
So then it jumps to like Zendaya talking about, or sorry, Emma talking about how like she had like a panic attack at work, and that it was basically just kind of like her boss says like, oh, it was like overwhelming butterflies or something like that.
Oh,
because,
yes, I remember that
yeah, I
too,
guess
yeah.
you may have gone to the hospital. Nothing
Showing
wrong with her.
hospital?
And then Rachel starts going in like, wait, is he like your first love or your first crush?
Oh yes, I remember that.
And she, you know, it's
And she's
again,
like,
it's like this like
both?
judgmental type of like,
Ugh.
oh, well, at 28, like, isn't that like kind of old? So that's just her deal. That's like this constant theme with her character.
Just single shaming.
And then it jumps to a scene with the dance teacher where Emma and Charlie are taking ballroom dance classes for their wedding, and Emma thinks it's a little too like performative and a little too stiff and wants to kind of just like do something that feels more natural.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher is immediately like, no, weddings are performative. Like, I'm not changing.
Like,
dance
very
choreography.
aggressively.
Yeah.
No, but I thought that was really like a moment. When she said that, I was like, weddings are very performative.
IRL, you're fired. Goodbye.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
like actually, like
Yeah.
why are you
giving you a
IRL,
pissing me
you
off?
start tripping at me like that, like you're not getting paid. So I saw that as kind of like and I thought it was like, it's a cool, insightful, like, yes, weddings are very performative in nature, and there's this like clash in life of like wanting to be authentic, but then also like what society kind of like expects of you.
Which is why I like that scene. Like,
that
like how
pressure.
life can
Yeah,
be very
I like that
performative,
scene
but also
too.
like how we want to be authentic and be our true selves. But like, there you got someone saying like,
And again,
no, this is life.
You have to, yeah.
You have to follow the
'Cause
rules
once
of life.
again,
but I
that
wanna
goes
be
back
me.
to like, what everyone else's perception is.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. Is that the director?
No, wait.
What?
Wait, it just
What?
all clicked.
I thought
How
you were
life
pointing
is- No, how life is performative, but he wants to be authentic and be.
Oh, I mean,
He's definitely
you kind of ate with that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there is, because that's the thing. You're trying to, like, when you know this about the director, you're watching this movie, and you're trying to piece apart, like, which side of this is he on? Like, is he on the side of, like, it was authentic and I shouldn't be ashamed that it happened, but, like, I need to adhere to, like, what society, like society
performance
does
of
have
life.
rules that need to be followed.
Right.
Or is he trying to, like, just completely validate himself and be like, no, this is me?
I think he's doing that. I think he's one of those people that say you can't be ethical in a capitalist society. That's what he gives.
We'll jump to now, like, after that, they're, talking about the dance teacher and how she was rude, and they see the DJ for their wedding. Charlie sees her smoking what he believes to be heroin. She's definitely
crack.
like
I think it was crack.
It looked like a
something
crack
like that. She
pipe.
got the foil. She got the like little like glass pipe or whatever, and Zendaya or Emma walks by, confirms it, and that launches into this, like, which I thought was like a really interesting, like, kind of philosophical debate on, is it ethical when you see your wedding DJ off on her own time, doing illegal drugs in the street? Like, would you keep her for your wedding? And what are our thoughts? What are your vote? Yay or nay?
I only said yay because the wedding's a week away. The wedding's a week away.
So let's say that you can get a replacement. It's not a question of whether you
time.
can, or whether or not you can get a
Oh, okay.
replacement. You can
Think
get
about the morality of
Well,
it.
is the replacement? Yeah.
Just straight up. Just
I still
don't
think.
don't
I still
like, you
think.
can get a replacement.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. Let's take that out of it.
I still think that I would keep the DJ.
My personal opinion on whether I would hire or keep my wedding DJ if I saw her out in the street, smoking heroin through like tinfoil and a glass pipe a week before the wedding,
It's very jarring.
is that I would say, well, first off, I think Charlie makes a joke. He calls her like DJ Overdose. I think he could have done better. I think DJ Freebase with BASS would be lit for a heroin smoking DJ, or you could do DJ Needle Drop, or you could do DJ.
He was thinking about these.
DJ
He was thinking about these
DJ
names.
Compulsive Scratching.
Okay.
DJ
Yes. Well, listen.
So hold on. So let me get
There's
to it.
so many good DJ
So,
names for crackheads.
but I think I would have to get
I don't
another
know.
DJ
Really?
because
if there's no kids at the wedding, we're keeping the DJ.
It's just that it's one thing if you're smoking heroin, but to be freebasing out in the open on a street corner shows such a lack of judgment.
Yes.
The fact that, like, it's one thing if you're doing it in your house. Like, if I saw you at a party in the corner, like, you're in private, but, like, you're just out here on the street, like, doing it as if, like, a cop can't walk right by you.
You like self-control.
But do you see how they set this up intentionally? Because it's the same thing goes. Like, as long as you have your secrets and you keep them in the house, then it's okay. Then she can still be the DJ. But now that she's out on the street in the open.
But that's true
Yeah.
for most things in
I
life.
mean, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things I do in the privacy of my own home.
No, I know, but it's
That I won't
still
do
like
in public.
it's on theme with what the movie like is about.
Yeah. There's also, like, what if she starts talking to one of your friends from the wedding? It's like, you could tell your groomsmen and maid of honor, like, hey, just so you know, like, I think I would actually put it to them also and say, like, are you comfortable with this? Because we're going to be mixed up in, like, doing all our stuff. You're going to have to keep an eye on her for us to make sure, like, she's not, like, swapping numbers with people.
Yeah,
because
that's
then one of our
stupid.
friends might end up, like, hanging out with her, and next thing we know, like, somebody that we care about is now addicted to something because we, like, overlooked this.
We're grown. If
That's too
one of
much
my
work.
friends started dating someone who was doing heroin, I'd be like, baby, like, yeah, that's on you.
Yeah, but maybe like they wouldn't have if you didn't have
Yeah, there's
a crackhead
that's
DJ.
not my fault.
Yeah, it is, Marcel.
There's
Listen.
still the element, because you could say that, but, like, once you get to, like, where,
wanted
like,
me to do
like the
that.
train has totally gone off the rails, you're going to be replaying, like, every moment that led up to that. One thing that's interesting about the DJ and the conversation that the four have about this is how each person views the DJ. And basically everyone's against the DJ except for Emma. Yes. And that is, you know, because she's the goddess of empathy.
Yes,
She, you know, believes in giving this person a chance and really putting herself in their shoes, whereas everybody else is just immediately dismissive and thinks, like, no, like, not our problem. This launches all the characters into what is the worst thing that they've ever done, because they're talking about the DJ and their hidden secret.
Yes.
So to go through it pretty quickly, Michael, the best man, his story, which he does not want to tell. Rachel is the one who kind of coaxes all of this out of them.
So we did this before we got married. You guys do it.
And forces it on Michael, who is very ashamed of this. Like, he doesn't want to say, but he had an ex-girlfriend who was, and you know, like, maybe antagonizing a dog, and then the dog started, like, nipping and lunging and getting aggressive, and just out of impulse, he, like, used his girlfriend as a human shield, which he felt really, really bad about. And then Rachel says that when she was young, like, you know, 14 or like a teenager or maybe even younger, she had a slightly younger, slow, as she described it, neighbor who wanted to show her something, and she only went because she was bored, takes her to an abandoned trailer in the park or in the woods, and it's disgusting, it's run down. The kid goes into, like, a closet. She just, like, has an impulse to, like, close the closet door. He's stuck in there and just starts immediately freaking out, which scares Rachel. She leaves him there, runs home, and then, like, says nothing. His dad comes over then looking for this kid. She still says nothing to the dad. So a whole night passes. This kid, there's now a search party, and
still says nothing.
And while she's saying this, she's saying it like it's funny. She is not at all ashamed of this. She feels no regret.
Remorse.
And
everybody's looking at it in the movie theater like.
And then maybe the most wild part is, like, they're like, well, she doesn't just immediately reassure them that the kid is all right. She just said, like, they say, what happened to him? She goes, I don't know. And then they're like, what do you mean you don't know? And she's like, well, they found him, like, you know, but it never got back to me.
I don't think they did.
That's the thing.
I really don't think that they did.
Okay, so...
Because she keeps saying, yeah, and then I just got away with it. What did you get away with, Rachel?
Let's unpack that statement of Rachel not getting caught or found out after locking a slow, like, you know, child in a closet in an RV. For that kid to not tell people what happened, he either had to be really, really slow, which makes it even more horrifying, or he had some sort of, like, psychological episode in that closet, which made him worse than he was before, to where he, blacked out or something.
Or he died.
Or, yeah, he actually died, and she's just, like, saying that to just appease everybody.
I never thought about the kid not saying anything to anyone else. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Because why, as a kid or as anyone, why wouldn't you say, yeah, and then this girl locked me in a closet?
No, like, the first thing
the dad would be like, why were you in there?
Exactly. How did you get here? What happened?
Right.
That would 100% get back to her unless something, like, really, really horrific happened.
Like, one of the three things.
And I would say, if this conversation happened in real life, I am not letting anything get past Rachel saying this.
No.
Like, the reaction that happens to Emma is what should be happening to Rachel, because like,
no.
what do you mean you locked a slow kid in a closet and left him there
overnight
night,
to the point where we needed to have a search party?
You're the one not coming to the wedding now.
No,
and like you didn't say anything while the search party's going on.
Not.
The search party's going on. You're just sitting there on your hand.
Her story is already not like Michael's, because his was quick impulse. While her story may have started as quick impulse, it is a whole day of decision and choosing not to do anything and allow more risk to happen for this kid. So then it gets over to Charlie, and where Charlie talks about cyberbullying some kid to the point where the kid moved away and he saw him crying about it. Him and his family had to move away. And Charlie is also like very like casual about it. He's laughing about it. And then they're like, he doesn't even say that he like looked into it. Like he's like, oh, well, he might have moved because of me, but I don't really know. Like he really has not thought about this.
Yeah.
But
also I feel like he was like grappling at that point in the conversation, because they were kind of like being like, oh, like, first they're like, oh, that's not that bad. You cyberbullied somebody. Like, that's not that big of a deal. Like, as like, first of all, who was cyberbullying? And then he's like, he moved away.
Because it was
and then so yeah, like he's saying it, but to try to get more respect from them about his bad thing.
Yeah, so he's like totally matching just trying to appease the group.
Literally.
Because the energy around Rachel doing this horrific thing and around Michael doing something that, is taboo is all just like fun, and they're laughing about it. And Zendaya, Emma, is not laughing at all about this, because we're gonna find out like she was bullied as a kid. Mm-hmm. But so they're all laughing about that, and then it gets to Emma, and Emma, her deep dark secret is that she planned a school shooting because she was bullied in high school really badly, and that she even went so far as to bring her dad's rifle to school. Like she was going to do it, and then she just didn't. And she is very, very remorseful and regretful when she's saying this. She clearly does not want to be saying this, and the mood is totally different for her.
Completely switches.
And
I know, and it's so crazy.
You can see Michael just knows that Rachel's gonna be pissed about this. So Michael is kind of already trying to do damage control. He's like touching Rachel. He's like, I didn't
even notice that.
Yeah, he's like very subtly trying to like, he doesn't want things to blow up. And once Rachel's like not like, and Charlie is feeding completely off of Rachel. He because Rachel's not laughing about this, Charlie is uneasy.
Like
about
you're a
this.
little like I don't want to swear.
And that is
the public perception
another
thing.
theme that we have, and that is Charlie being very reactive to the perception from white women specifically, and that like his like fear of judgment from society is almost like hyper fixated, especially on what white women think.
Right.
And if we're talking about race again, it is interesting the two black characters are very remorseful about their actions, and the two white characters are just like, yeah, whatever. No, I think it goes to show like how I feel like how we're always tracking as Black Americans, we're always tracking of like how we're perceived to other people. Mm-hmm.
So the whole basically Rachel says we're leaving, and Zendaya is so overwhelmed with guilt that she just throws up, and then there's an immediate shift in how Charlie treats Emma. He is immediately cold and distant to her. He's upset at her for getting so drunk. He's like, how'd you get so drunk? They're in the bathroom. She's brushing her teeth. He walks away, leaves her there. Yeah. They're on opposite sides of the bed. And then it cuts to a dream sequence of Charlie's where it's their wedding reception, or just a wedding reception, and everyone's dead. It looks like the aftermath of
was that Charlie's dream sequence? Because I feel
like
it was Emma.
I thought it was Emma.
Yeah.
I think it's Charlie's because they cut to Charlie right after that.
Oh, okay.
They cut to Charlie in the kitchen, and he's woken up and gotten up. He's left Emma in bed alone.
Yeah.
So he's enhancing that
thinking,
distance. He's left her alone. He's in the kitchen now, possibly thinking
And to Charlie's credit, though, that is shocking. If you're about to get married and like you learn about your partner, that is shocking.
And then the other
For
thing
real,
that's
for real.
shocking about it too is that she mentions that it's the reason why she lost her hearing in her left ear, and
Right
it's
ear.
like it was her.
Yeah.
Oh well, whatever.
Yeah,
And
whatever.
it's like I'd be that's a huge thing to lie about for like your entire relationship, to act like you had that happen at birth and then to just go back and be like.
But at the same
for
time, their whole relationship is built on him lying too.
him lying.
That
But about the book is like being lying about not reading a book is such a big huge difference than lying about being deaf.
And, like how the reasoning of your death.
Yeah,
Also,
of
we'll talk about
course.
it later. Like
that's
her
like
gun
I feel
advocate-
like a little white lie. Like lying about like why you're deaf out of one ear is huge.
Another thing of note is that Charlie asks her, he says, "Why'd you say it in front of them?" So it shows again that his focus is primarily on the perception
of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
of him and what other people think. He's not trying to figure out what happened to her, like why she was so like he's not trying to get the personal story from her. He's not trying to make her feel better. He's not trying to get like real insights. He's more concerned with the social stigma of it. Whereas
Yes.
I would think like if it was me in that situation, the first thing I would want to know is like, I never knew that you were depressed as a kid. I never knew that you
Yeah.
were bullied. That
didn't even know what she looked like.
You went through something so traumatic. Like I would immediately just want to be like, I want to know like what caused that pain that would drive you to this. Like I'd try to get to the heart of the issue.
I will say though, not to defend Charlie. Only thing when he's saying like, "Why would you say it in front of everyone else?" A topic of that magnitude, I would be like, "Damn, babe, like how is this the first time I'm hearing this in front of a group of people?"
I know, yeah.
That I would
I'd be like,
like
I'd probably say something else and then tell him later. I'd be like, remember that we were talking about earlier? That wasn't actually my worst thing. Like this was.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm like, babe, like that's a big thing to drop in front of. Yeah, I do agree with that.
So there's a line that Charlie has where he says in bed, "We have to talk about it or else I'll think you're a psychopath." And that's one of those moments where the director is saying that because he knows that's how society feels. And then you think about the fact that he himself is not talking about his scandal.
Yeah.
And it's like, babe, take your own advice. You know that this is how people are going to think. The worst thing you could do, essentially, is just to try and stay silent.
Right.
Well, I feel like I don't know. I think we talked about this the last time. I think his perception is maybe my answer is this film,
Yeah.
which is not strong.
Then they start talking about Emma's past. And we see first there's like these small examples of like her getting bullied as a kid. And it's little things. It's getting like shoved. It's like someone telling her that she needs deodorant. And he's like, that's it. And I thought that was a good depiction of it because I think people tend to want to like think that it's these big like cinematic like events that turn people bad and cause like people to go into depression but the reality is more likely that it's just very everyday things that we just overlook because we don't think that they're that big and then they kind of like add up. In the depiction of her as like her younger self like becoming a school shooter or learning about it, she says that she was intrigued by the aesthetics and that it like she fell into like an online community where it was very much like romanticized. And I think that is like a very real like genuine portrayal of like what happens.
What
like,
actually happens.
So many people today, like the red pill community, all that, like you're following like
They have their
it's
like anarchist-esque
it's
vibe.
these people that don't have any validation that
There's the secret community.
they get seduced by validation that they do find from other people with very problematic viewpoints.
And I think when you find that community, you're like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Other people think like me, and it kind of, like you said, validates your opinions.
Or you're like, I can be the coolest in this community.
No, but it's like, I feel like it's
well,
like
she says
Sally, like how racism and shit can go.
She said that she got more attention from this community because she was a girl.
Right.
And that's what made it stick out. And so that's what she was attracted to. She was seduced and attracted by this attention that she got from this very problematic community. And I thought it was very interesting, drawing the parallel between her playing a character in her mind and romanticizing like the idea and the imagery of being a school shooter with the director, whose letter very much echoed that when he's talking about the way he romanticized his May-December relationship in that he kind of just saw himself as being like a main character in this like Woody Allen movie.
Yeah, but I thought that was interesting watching it when she said like, it was a character, not me. Because I feel like when you have strong cognitive dissonance, it does make your wrongful actions more okay.
Yeah.
Not really, but like to you, it does.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a number of criticisms about this movie. One was that it was inappropriately marketed, that it was disingenuous or underhanded to make this look like it's going to be kind of like a comedy about a wedding. And then people are in the theater thinking they're going to see something lighthearted, and
I didn't think that.
And they're hit with, something about school shooting.
I mean, it's called
it's called
The Drama, is rated R, and I feel like a lot of
it's A24 film.
And I feel like a lot of the big thing in the trailer was like, what's the secrets? And then we would never hear Emma's secrets, so everybody's like, oh my god, what's this? So I never thought. I never thought that.
My feeling about it is that movies can't tell you everything before they come out. They can't give you a warning for everything, otherwise.
Why show up?
Yeah.
You're not really being told a story. You're just they have like
There's be some
storytellers do not have some sort of like debt to make sure that you're mentally prepared for every aspect of their story. What matters is whether they tell like an authentic, genuine story and aren't like painting the characters or like the subjects in just a obviously fake or misleading manner.
Yes.
And I thought
Right.
the depiction of a young school shooter was genuine. I thought that it was done earnestly, and I thought that it was done with like enough care and
it's something I feel like I've never seen before.
I've
never seen like the perception of a school shooter, and again,
in that light, I feel like.
her being a young black girl that's such a
you always see like the victims' perspectives in movies. I feel like,
or just in society,
like what the aftermath of the effect is. You never see like a movie about like where somebody was like gonna.
I think it's really important. I mean,
because to get to the issue, we have to know why.
But when I was in the movie theater and I found out, like when they said, "Oh, my dark deepest secret was mass shooting," I had to take a look around. Like I was like, "Wait a minute!" Like I was like. Movie theater, dark, nighttime, America.
and that's the thing.
I was like, I'm scared.
If anything, this is America. We do not get the benefit of always knowing when we're going to hear about a school shooting because it happens so much. And
mass shootings are unfortunately so common.
I don't like people were saying that it was like normalizing or exploiting a tragedy, and I don't think it is. I think, if anything, we don't talk about it enough. It wasn't made as a joke. It wasn't made as like, a punchline. It wasn't there just for the amusement. You actually were pulled into the emotions and the viewpoint of this character, and I really enjoyed it. It like immediately struck me as like, it's crazy that we haven't seen a story, a big movie that takes an intimate look at school shootings like this from any perspective.
And I wonder if we don't do that because like the fear of what the character was saying. I was reading so much about it, and I romanticized it. So maybe people are not producing as much because they don't want to romanticize it.
Also, but I mean, is that necessary?
They think
it'll
be impossible to market. The studios are like, we're not going to make a movie about a school shooting because like no one wants to go see that.
Maybe that's why they didn't really put it in the trailer.
like when you hear people talking about like, we need a movie that's just like nothing but good vibes and good energy and happy. But I really don't think that's the antidote to what we're dealing with in society. I think that we need to actually take a look at these things, and if they have to be a little deceptive to get it in front of our face, then.
But I feel like that's like that's just how society is. When society feels dark, we want light. When society feels normal, we don't really care.
Yeah, but then. Like,
not we don't really care, but like that's when like I feel like deeper dramas come out and stuff like that.
But then you're kind of just like tuning it out. You're just saying like, oh yeah, it's a really heavy topic.
We'll just deal with it later on.
We'll just
and then the next thing happens, and it's like, oh, I wish we talked about that.
I think people are saying like there's a lot of heavy things happening in the world right now. I don't want to be burdened by. I don't want my entertainment to deepen me.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's like we're already dealing with like so much going
in the
on
world.
in the media that it's like, oh, I want to put on some like I guess, you do have a point. Like, there's times where I've been, like, kind of, like, depressed or something, and I'm not going to go watch, like, a sad movie.
But at the end of the day, there's movie ratings for a reason. It's rated R. It says that there's violence and graphic visuals. So then they're getting their wedding pictures, and this is probably, like, the funniest scene of the movie for me, because it's the photographer saying, I'm going to shoot you like this, then I'm going to shoot your parents, I'm going to shoot
Yes,
that.
every time they say shoot, you're like...
Yeah, that was hilarious. That was genuinely hysterical.
Yeah, there was a lot of gag moments
But
in this movie.
it becomes clear at this point that, like, he's not going to let this go. That even though she kind of, like, told a little bit about, like, what got her into this and tried to, like, explain it just personally, he's hung up on it. And one of our themes, again, was him being triggered by what he thinks white women are thinking. And, like, there's a shot where it shows, like, young, attractive white photographer's assistant kind of, like, looking at them. And that, right after that, they show him getting his wedding pictures, but he's not with his wife anymore, like, current Emma. It's the younger school shooter Emma with holding a rifle.
Okay, I think I missed that part. So there was, like, the assistant of the photographer was, like, a cookie cutter white woman.
She's like
and
is
she looking
blonde hair,
at?
blue
She
eyes.
just. I think I went to the bathroom.
Yeah, he just he just glances at her and he sees her looking at them,
and then he's like instantly
and
like,
right after that, now he's not with his wife anymore. He's with a school shooter getting his. And then he's like having
attempted school shooter.
Attempted.
Well, in his mind,
yes.
It might as well be that she did it.
And
then it's like flashing to like him in the park with her and him like doing romantic things with her. And then he's thinking back to all of these like, and I couldn't tell if these were things happening in the present or if they had happened in the past. Where
I think it was
Emma's yelling at a cab that like almost like went through them at crosswalk and like slapping him in bed. And he's like now he's like kind of trying to trace this back, like, oh, maybe she was messed up the whole time. Maybe I just like didn't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So then after that, we go back to like him asking. He wants more information. He wants to like dive deeper into it, and it's back to childhood Emma, and there's a scene where she's actually like making the video of like what they're gonna find after she does it. So it's like it shows how like committed she was. Like, this is it. She's making her like last testament, and it kind of like in a kismet way gets like cut off by like her computer's like glitching. It like won't record it.
Webcam stopped. Yeah.
And personally, I kind of wanted to hear just like 20 seconds more of her speech just to like really like feel this character and like what was going through her head, instead of like giving the comedic relief so quickly. But
this was comedic relief.
People laughed. Oh, but every time I saw
the
movie
when
the computer like cut her off, and
people were laughing
like,
for sure
because she's in this like very deep, like she's playing this character. She's playing this deep character, and that kind of like snaps her back into like being a dorky teenager. Like in that moment, she's like, she's all serious. She's got her rifle, and then she's like, what? Oh man!
Yeah.
Like,
no!
Wait, shout out to this actress because she did a great job portraying
the girl who played childhood Emma was really
she was tapped in.
Mm-hmm.
And then she explains that the real reason that she didn't go through with it was because another kismet moment, like another mass shooting happened.
Not mass shooting.
Well, yes, technically not.
Technically,
mass
according to the movie.
A shooting happened.
It's crazy when she points that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's crazy when she points that out because Robert Pattinson is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like one of those like American like.
He's like, wow.
The American technicality.
Like.
He's like, you
could you imagine what our numbers would be like if we counted 3 or more? Then
it's not even funny.
They find out that one of her schoolmates passed away in that shooting, and so it becomes this like school-wide tragedy where like everybody's really upset, and now they're having like an assembly about it, and one of the girls that bullied her and like so basically like the gym teacher or whatever, one of the teachers like is doing an exercise where he tells them all to like get up and like just walk to a random student and just like kind of look at them and feel what they're feeling. And I thought this was the most powerful.
That was a beautiful moment.
Yeah. I thought this was the most powerful moment of the movie by far, is when younger Emma is now like face to face with the girl that was bullying her, and like there's this mutual like feeling of shame because the bully, you could tell, like kind of knows that like she was putting all of this like pain on Emma by bullying her, and like this is the type of thing that like drives people to do this.
Yeah.
And Emma can feel that on the other side, like how ashamed she is of like not only bullying her, but like, you know, how sad she is that this student is now like gone because
Right.
of all this like hatred that is out there in the world. And they both make each other break and start crying, and they embrace each other. And like that was deep. Like that's just a really powerful moment.
How we're all like, at the end of the day, like we're talking about race and gender a lot, but at the end of the day, we're all human. You know what I'm saying? And like tragedy really hits us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really deep, and it's also like people, the way that you crave community and connection.
Yes.
And now she finally feels like she can relate to this person on a deeper level, and it's like that like ice has been broken. Like you're now like you humanize your bully essentially.
Yes.
But I feel like this was like her second chance. Like it was like her divine intervention or something.
That's why I thought divine intervention.
Because if that shooting didn't happen, then she wouldn't have came to this realization. She never would have had this opportunity to talk to her bully and kind of like rationalize with them and see.
I see you.
Yeah.
But then you get into what happens next.
Yeah. So then the teacher is like, you know, talk to the class about mass shootings in general, and one girl is like, well, this is like, you know, a straight white man issue, like that's where the focus should be. And young Emma comes in and is immediately like, well, that's not exactly true, like women commit shootings all the time. And that's what kind of like piques the interest of this boy, who they kind of like cue this French music, so you assume that he's kind of like like a little interested in her. But just, you know, just by kind of like degendering the issue and making this like just more of a human issue and human problem, and that the focus should just be on like human pain and human healing instead of like, you know, this specific group. And then she kind of like now gets this community because he invites her to be part of this like anti-gun group.
Yeah.
And you just like see her kind of like actually get like elevated in this group to like being like one of the main speakers, and now she's like you know, becomes like the face of it. But
which I thought was a cute moment.
I don't really see an issue with this. I mean, I do see an issue with the fact that she became the face of the movement. Like she might have wanted to like hold herself a little more accountable and be like, let me not like, you know, go and like use this as like my time to be on a stage. But also I feel like it's okay for you, especially as a child, to come to like a point where you change your mind about something, and you're allowed to use like that experience that you had once you felt this like completely opposite way as an explanation and a way to understand why people do the things that they do. Like
so I feel like not just as children, as adults, we are allowed to change.
And then
you know what I'm saying? So
100%.
I feel like if an event happens like that, where you're going to be completely on one side of an issue, and something awakens you to say like, oh my God, I was wrong, we should be allowed to change.
100%.
And I feel like you use that you use that change and push and change society.
What allowed us to empathize with Emma and really believe that she changed was probably like the best advice that this director has to himself that he doesn't seem to be taking. And it's her, like us feeling like Emma looked at the person that she hurt or was going to hurt, the person on the other side of this hatred, of this like terrible act that she did, and genuinely like feeling their pain and having like what appears to be a genuine moment of regret and grief. And if this whole thing is about like cancel culture, or this director trying to figure out like, how can I like prove to people that I understand like what I did was wrong, like that is it. Like you need to show us that you genuinely understand the pain of what like this type of relationship or like going after like underage girls can do. Like talk to women that have been hurt by this, who are in a position like to where they've gotten over it. They've like, you know, they can actually have like a powerful discourse about it and like a helpful discourse about it, but just sitting silent is why we will, like, if you just stay silent, we will never believe that from you. Same thing with anybody that's ever been canceled. Like, you can't just walk away, pen a letter, say that, like, oh, I've done some thinking. No, we need to see the thinking. We need to see you, like, literally hearing the stories, feeling the grief of the people on the other side of what you did, and if
then
we,
do something about it.
Yeah, if we
but a lot of people
see your grief, like, from feeling their grief, then we might be able to believe it.
Then we might be able to forgive you, but I mean, people don't want to look at themselves like that.
No, they don't. And a lot of PR teams are probably like, don't worry, the next scandal will come, it'll go, like, it'll blow over. So then they don't even want to put in the
this is
effort.
for the people that genuinely want to, you know.
Nobody cares until their
I don't know why anybody wouldn't. If the entire world turns on you.
But that's the thing. Like, some people, but that's the thing. Some people really don't actually care. Some people are egomaniacs.
Like, that's insane.
Most people don't care until their money's affected.
You're not going to take a look inward and think, like, oh, everybody disagrees with me.
Because,
like,
the things
and
that these
try to change something.
But the things that these happen, like, when people get canceled, it's because they have gotten to this point where they are so successful and they have such an ego. Especially, like, Hollywood gives people egos. Like, the music industry.
Yeah.
Like, fame gives you these egos. And it's hard to have an ego death the bigger you are.
And I feel like we as society, we deify celebrities. We deify people in entertainment. And like, it's like, you don't talk about my God. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk about my God. I'm like, yo, he shit's just like you. What are you talking about?
That's so scary. That's so scary to ever think about a possibility where you could become that delusional.
And people
like that is so scary.
Just off of it.
Just have the ego death. You want the answer. Everybody who's like saying like, well, what do we do when we get canceled? Like, there's nothing we can do to satisfy you. Have the ego death. Make it genuine. Listen to the people that you have like hurt and like feel it.
I agree.
Really feel it.
I agree.
Let's move on before we keep chewing on it. So even after Charlie hears this like very emotional story and like the journey, the transformation that young Emma went on throughout her life, he is still not over it, and most likely spurred by the fact that Emma mentions that Rachel is still not responding to her via email or text. So that's
and
again,
Rachel's her maid of honor. Let's make that clear.
Again, but it's
Rachel's her maid of honor. She's not texting her back.
It's that constant theme of like a white woman's disapproval, like ratcheting up.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Charlie's insecurity about this relationship. So then he goes on to like, even after they've had this big chat, he has this like bad dream where like there's like blood getting dripped all over her. And then he like throws out his mug that has like a gun on it. Then he deletes his entire like wedding speech. Yeah. Like all these emotions about like how great she was, like, all the good things about her. That is
so crazy to me.
Yeah, because he's obsessed with the perception. He's not like he never was really in love with her. He was in love with like,
the idea of her.
The idea of her and what he built and what he built up.
Yeah.
And like,
a beautiful black woman on my arm.
And him deleting the speech is like you clearly felt none of those things.
After getting the most intimacy out of her that he's ever had.
Yeah.
From this, like learning like the core of like what made this person that
what makes her who she is. Yeah.
After that, there's a scene where it becomes clear like what Charlie's top priority is, because he just starts instigating, asking her about like, didn't you like see your like neighbor like die in a car crash or something like that? And she's like, no, not really. Like it happened. I didn't see anything. I didn't really know her, but yes, my neighbor died in a car crash. She was young, just like me. But like, I know what you're doing with this. He's like, his top priority is PR. He is trying to figure out how he can like spin her story or just like, you know, get public approval.
The way Rachel reacted, also Rachel bringing up the cousin, the family.
Like,
we know Rachel done told 50 people by now.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, we're calling Rachel right now. We figured it out.
50 people by now.
Oh, I would be shocked if there wasn't some like long like Facebook post or Instagram post that was like so cryptic. Like it's like you're not
so shady.
Like,
exactly.
Hate
so
when
like
people almost do school shootings.
Those people always have like the cryptic, like absurdly passive aggressive like Instagram.
Today's the anniversary that my cousin was shot by a school shooter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or just like a picture.
Just
all these
thinking,
just old memories of me and my cousin. Like
yes, and you know what I'm saying. Then tagging Emma. You know what I'm saying? You know Rachel was on that shit.
So then after that, then there's Charlie is at work and he like sees this like book because he's like the curator at that art museum. He sees this book which is all like, you know, young women with guns and kind of like, you know, seductive like poses.
They're all lingerie bikini too, I think.
Yeah,
I think they're all white women too.
I don't know if they're all white women, but
I don't remember the races, but I think they were all definitely sexy. They were sexified.
Yeah. Well, that might even be a nod. All the girls with the guns and Zendaya having this like very model-y pose like on a bed with a gun may have been a nod to. You wouldn't even be watching this if it wasn't for me putting a hot girl with a gun in her hand.
Yeah.
Like the only reason you all are even here listening to this conversation is because I got Zendaya to do this movie. And I knew if I told you anything about it, if it wasn't Zendaya with a gun, you wouldn't want to hear about the story. You would have no empathy towards this person. So... I mean, it's a
fair like assessment of society. Like, it's honestly like, would you like if it was like a little fat pimply kid like who is honestly more likely to do a school shooting than somebody that looks like Zendaya?
They'd call him an incel. There wouldn't.
It wouldn't be as successful of a film.
After that, then there's a scene where like Charlie and Emma are like in bed and they start making out, and like Charlie can't get it out. Have sex with her. Then after that, it goes back to the theme of Emma being the goddess of empathy and just wants to like, she's like, well, let's like she tries to role play like a brand new start where like they pour a glass of wine and she tries to pretend like they're strangers and that like they're meeting for the first time. And this thing that like it's like the quintessential thing that Charlie has always loved about her. Mm-hmm. Yes. And now he's just not having it. He's like, I can't do this. I don't want to play anymore. Yes. And that's the point where Rachel calls and says that she's not going to be in the wedding. Which then, of course, this theme of
she's
like
the maid of honor.
Like, girl, you're not invited.
This is what keeps like making Charlie worse and worse is more like white female approval. That launches him into actually having a sit down with Rachel and with Michael, and like he thinks that he needs to be the one to like go over there and like it's like
and if
you're a normal person, if you like if you really love your wife at this point, like you don't want this woman at your wedding, like
that part.
You
know, this is what we're doing the week before our wedding.
Like straight up, like if you're gonna be like this, like you don't need to come. Like it will be better without you.
Without your energy there.
Yeah,
and we will come to see why that would have been a better decision.
But
they don't even have bridesmaids. I'd be like, fuck the maid of honor. We don't need one either.
But that's his priority. His priority is just looking good to everybody else. So then, he tries to like put it at her, and he's like, like what you did was wrong, and she like dismisses it, and then she, there's this moment where Rachel says that Michael's always been afraid of guns because he grew up around it.
He's a black man in America. We're afraid of guns.
And he's like,
the microaggression
what are you talking about? He's like, my dad was a cop. Like, that's why we have guns. He's like, I'm not afraid of guns. Like, why? And so I think it's more of that theme of like very cancel culture-y to where like people will just kind of like talk out of their ass and just like they'll take the fight for other people just because they think they know, or they'll try to like boast themselves up by like being the protector of somebody else where they're kind of just ignorant to the situation. They don't like, you know.
I saw it as like what we were kind of saying, like how like, oh yeah, you black guy from the city, like yeah, of course, like he's afraid of guns. Like let me assume that every community is a monolith.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're gay. You like you watch Drag Race.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
So he's
and then he's like, what?
And then Charlie goes into his kind of like PR stunt where he tries to use this like fake car crash story, and it like works for a second.
Yeah, because Emma wasn't actually in the car when they showed that scene. Was she actually in the
car?
That was all
in his mind, right?
Yeah, that was part of the fantasy that he was trying to like win her over
to help him sleep at night.
And then he kind of says like, like maybe like like this like terrible thing in this journey and this personal growth that she went on and this blemish in her past is like part of what makes her interesting. Like people aren't supposed to be perfect, and she just immediately dismisses that. And that felt very much like the director talking about himself. Like, like this is just like a thing, a blemish from my past that I got over. And it's just, everybody has these, and it's just, the blemishes are kind of like what make us unique and make us more beautiful.
Yeah.
But again, bro, you gotta do the work to make us actually know that you've changed. You can't just like make a movie and like convince
I guess
us.
only time will tell.
And I think that's the most dangerous thing. Like, I didn't have a problem with watching this movie to kind of like hear, like, just analyze the situation. But I think it's very problematic because obviously this movie did very well. And I think the worst thing that Hollywood, everyone can do is let him just be silent and, you know, allow this kind of like success to be his excuse and just keep elevating him, because that is only going to feed higher into the ego
Of
that
him.
he can do what he wants, he gets away with it.
I mean, that's what unfortunately rich men have in this world, especially rich white men, rich powerful
Well,
white men.
people who just
And apparently directors.
Yeah. But honestly, had I known this about before the film, I probably wouldn't have seen it.
Really? So, in keeping with Rachel's theme, she says that while she needs to ask her cousin for permission to know whether she can go to this wedding or not, the one who was the
Like, yeah,
victim
let's put it on
of the
someone
school
else.
shooting.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, just like, you should be making your own decisions. And there is this, like, natural instinct. And even to myself, like, the first thing when I saw this movie, I kind of wanted to see, like, oh, is there, like, a school shooter's perspective on this movie? I want to, you know, kind of get that reaction just to know.
Like
And
an
there
actual
was-
school shooter?
No, I mean, like, somebody who was a victim of a school shooting.
Oh, okay.
Like, somebody who, like, experienced it. And I found some, but it wasn't from people who had actually seen the movie, so I couldn't really take that. But, like, I'm sure, like, you guys, like, have probably felt that, like, do you ever have friends, like I can't say this because I'm, like, a white guy, but, like, who go to you looking for kind of, like, you to be the decisive opinion
To
of,
be
like,
the voice of the black gay community all the fucking time.
I have a specific friend group that constantly sends me things that antagonize women and are like, how do you feel about this? And I'm like, I'm sorry, like, you can't think for yourself.
I would start every conversation off saying, like, I am Marcel Logan. I am not the voice of the entire black and gay community. I can't be. I'm like, I can't be. But, like, I'll tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, please don't go and say, well, my black friend said, well, my gay friend said. No. I don't speak for every gay person. I don't speak for every black person. I can't.
yeah.
No, I
know what I'm saying, but I don't speak for everybody.
And honestly, it gets a little ridiculous with that friend group that I have. It literally, it pisses me off.
Yeah, so
I'm
her
like,
going to the
why
cousin is
are
like,
you telling me this?
You are a victim of a school. Her going to the cousin, you're a victim of a school shooting. Like, how does it make you feel? Should I continue? Just like, make your own decision, Rachel.
Yeah. She is not the voice of every single school shooter. Like,
And it's interesting a white woman did this. I will say it's the majority of my white friends who do that.
Who do what?
Marcel, I saw this issue about black gay people. Or Marcel, I saw this
Oh
about
yeah, 100%. Because they're doing what this guy's doing, trying to rationalize whatever their behaviors are.
My black friends really ask me, Marcel, this is a gay topic. What do you think?
No.
Yeah.
Rarely.
No, that's what people need to know, is that, like, there is no like minority, like, consensus on anything.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is different. Like, everyone
Look at MLK, look at Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Both fighting for the same issue, but different ways of getting there. Like, it's just how it
exactly.
is.
So
We're human beings.
Of course,
I love this
so
scene.
the further,
Oh my gosh, the way everyone gasped.
This
Scene was epic.
So just like as has been tradition throughout this entire movie, more disapproval from a white woman launches higher and higher anxiety with Charlie, and then what does he do? He looks for the opinion of yet another white girl.
Like the dumbest one,
And
too.
she starts this whole thing by letting him know that she cheated on somebody who she said was a genuinely kind man with one of his friends who was also married, and like
she was
completely
messy.
blew up
She
that
was a-
entire social circle. So it's like, she's telling you right at the top here,
I ain't the
she
one.
is not the barometer for ethical decision making.
That
She
part.
is not
At least she knows.
authority on empathy. This is the last person
Yep.
you should be trying to figure out how you should feel about this. And he like
Misha.
goes into a hypothetical about like if her boyfriend like said that he tried to do a school shooting, yada yada yada, and she's like, of course, just like, no, I'd leave him. He's probably crazy. Like, I wouldn't. And this just like sends Charlie like
His
off.
threading,
Like,
emotional
he-
threading was
and-
so
Oh, I know,
beautiful.
it's crazy.
I
It was
thought
really nice.
the editing of the scene with the DJ I thought was amazing because it just made it so much more interesting to like see him, because if you had just done this chronologically and showed like the totality of his interaction with Misha and the total, and then like going into the like him kind of like breaking down in front of the DJ, then like everything, but there's a lot less like mystery and excitement as the scene like evolves. But intercutting the two, because you see him with the DJ and with Emma like going to potentially fire her, and like something's off with him and you don't know what, and then like the scene keeps going and you're like, oh, did he just like break down in front of Misha and like now he's just like really really upset? And like then like
oh my
goes a little bit
gosh,
further and you see that
oh
like
my gosh,
in like Misha kind of like consoling him, he kisses her and like she's just like
this was
true
crazy.
to her like terrible character, is just like ready to drop
when she dropped
and
she
was like fuck it
and get totally rammed by like a coworker at work
in the
who
middle
is
of
like totally emotionally a wreck right now.
Wow, yeah.
And so the scene
and she was gonna let him do it.
Oh yeah, because she is not like the person that he should be putting any stock in what she feels about like judgment of somebody or anything like that.
She was
okay. Wait, can I just say one thing? The way the theater gasped, and this was the only time in the entire duration of the movie, besides when people were laughing and stuff, that you could hear like audible gasps. Like, and this was like, oh, because you're like, it's the week before the wedding, like he's gonna cheat on her with this dumb bitch.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening?
And that's the thing, like I certainly don't agree with the messages that are trying to be made or the points that are trying to be made in this movie. Like some yes, but there's a lot no. But the reason I enjoyed this movie so much is because there is just a consistent elevation of drama.
Mm-hmm.
The drama.
Yeah. Of stakes and drama and story. And there's no point where I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, we're just like going through the motions. I know exactly what's going to happen next. Like, I did not know where the story was going to go. I had no idea what was going to happen. And that is the excitement that I look for.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the man in me, but like I was really empathized with Charlie in this scene, because I was like, I get like when you're like going through with the partner, you're just like, I just need a relief, I just need a break, I just need a break. Here, take me.
Okay, let's launch into the scene.
Sorry.
So they're there to potentially fire the DJ, and it seems like Emma isn't like certain that she's going to do it. She just tries to kind of like bring it up, and the DJ is very like dismissive. She like basically like lies and is like yeah, it wasn't me, like, and that's what really turns Emma off, and is like, no, it was you, like, be honest about this, and makes her say like, absolutely not, like no, you're getting fired. And maybe that's like the director again kind of saying like, like, yeah, like what separates me from her is like I told you all the truth, like I was upfront about stuff. Like,
oh, brother.
The director said y'all fucked up, not me.
Yeah.
He said y'all are fucked up. Society's fucked up, not me.
But
Flexion.
like also like you bragged about it. Like that's different.
You voluntarily posted an op-ed.
And then we find out, yeah. So then she fires the DJ, and like Charlie is now like a total wreck. He like breaks down, and Emma, of course, just like thinks it's like about her, and she doesn't know what's going on.
This wedding scene was so good.
So
it was
so then like all these
happen.
tensions are boiling. They're doing the photographs, and like Emma is getting stared down, and again, like, yes, I know that like like they're so wrapped up in their own things, but like if I am the bride and I am getting like mean mugged by this girl, get the fuck out.
At my wedding?
I know, like literally get out, like get out.
And it's kind of like
she's being too like passive, because I would cause
I think one thing missing from the Emma character is like, why doesn't she have any confidence up to this point, because she went on this arc, she found her community, she like was emboldened enough to kind of like become the face of this shooting. Like anti-gun, like that. Yeah. Like obviously you have to have a certain amount of like chutzpah. You have to have like some fire and some like fearlessness in you. So I think that's an element that was missing. Like, why was she so
I
kind of
know.
like feeble and unable to like defend herself throughout this whole situation?
The first thought for me
It
is like
doesn't
these
make
traditional
any
marriage
sense.
roles. That's the first thought when you said that, traditional like marriage roles. Like let me be the wife.
Maybe because it's like
know if my
she's
first thought.
obviously like Emma's obviously not afraid to put up a fight. You see it like again with like her arguing with the cab person, like yelling at the fucking the DJ,
And,
like
and even in the date where
So
she
why-
like she like starts like dirty talking him. And,
yeah.
that's,
So
a
it's
very-
like
But
why
also-
is she so like just gonna lay down in the road and die?
Well, because
over...
she says multiple times in the film, like, can we just get over, like, pretend it didn't happen? So I think that a lot of times you just want to pretend it didn't happen, like, let's just move on. So I think for
yeah, so
her-
maybe it's that part of her character kind of like coming back to bite her.
Yes, I
No,
think,
but
like, so I
either
think
way,
for her-
I'd be like, enough is enough. You need to leave.
Yeah.
No, I think, but in the wedding, if she
Especially
enough
the
needs to
speech?
leave, she's trying to just I want to get over it.
Yeah.
I just want this day to go
All
over.
right,
I just want to move on.
So on to first her dad gives a speech, Emma's dad.
Yes.
And then Rachel gives a speech. And what I really think that they missed and like should have put on the table and would have made the scene so much like better for me is if after introducing the dad character and getting the speech from him, when Rachel was talking, I wanted the dad's reactions so
I know.
badly because Father of the Bride hears this kind of attitude from this girl.
But you kinda get it.
He would have been
Not from him, but it pans back to her side, like when she makes a joke, and they're like,
we know like
How
how
Emma feels,
her
yeah.
and Charlie feel up to this
Yeah.
point. We know how like uncomfortable they are. I wanted the dad just being like, "What are you hearing this? Like, do I need to
Or, like,
throw
looking
her
at
out
Emma
on the
being
street
like-
for you, like a military man? Like,
she needed a maid of honor for the maid of honor.
like if he had dropped a line like, the fuck is wrong with this bitch? I would have fucking lost it. It would have been so good. But so yeah, Rachel gives this like really like vile speech where it's clear that like she's just like a troll. She's just a troll at this point. She's at the wedding to troll. And that
Solely.
throws and that-
Only does it because of the dad's speech about like when she finds out that she was like a gun activist.
well, who knows? She may have been planning on that the whole time, but
She just sucks.
yeah, but so that launches
job,
Emma
actress.
to like go into the bathroom, and then she hears Misha outside talking to she doesn't know who, and she's already scared that like
Oh my
Rachel
gosh.
has like spread the word about like her
But it's
past to
not
everybody,
that.
and of course the only reason like Misha is telling somebody about school shootings because like Charlie laid this like
Like a
absurd
weirdo.
hypothetical on her,
To his
so
coworker.
she's like, what was that? And then that prompts like Emma to ask her like, what were you talking about? And she's like, oh, nothing, nobody. And then she talks to Charlie, and she's like, yo, like, I think Rachel like told Misha about this. He's like, no. He's like just trying to protect himself. He goes, no, forget about it. But she can't. And so then she brings in Misha to like, say, and then Misha like is sure like she found out about the infidelity and just like blurts out everything.
First word, I love that.
Yeah. And like that's where
Which is so
and like
good.
Charlie tries
So
to like
good.
diffuse, and Emma's like, shut up. No, I think she even gives a shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. She's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to like
And Emma's lit because she was chugging that bottle
Yeah,
of
she
Blaze.
chugged
She
the
was
bottle of
chugging
Blaze.
that bottle of Blaze. I said, girl, you are litty.
and then they have to walk outside, and like, so now the cat's out of the bag with everything, like peak drama. And like, it's like the best man Michael is like, it's like, oh, now it's time for the bride to give a speech. He's like, okay, we're going to do the groom speech. And he
And he
Totally-
bombs.
so he totally
I would've
melts
knocked him
down.
out.
And like my thing, so
Says the
how
worst shit.
how I saw Charlie's speech was that he didn't have this arc and finally realized that he needed Emma and that he didn't care anymore because he realized that it didn't matter. He had now gotten to the point where he couldn't be seen any worse. Like he had the shame on him, and he knew that one, he could be losing his job because he just like basically like
Sexual
like
harassment.
essayed a coworker.
Yes.
He
Even though she was
may like be known as like a cheater to everybody in their social circles,
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Like,
'Cause mom.
So he really is just like at rock bottom. He has nothing to lose. So,
Yeah.
So he
he's
makes it
trying
worse.
he's trying to cling to her because it's better than nothing at this point, because he just assumes like his image is gone.
I saw his speech as like, everyone knows how shitty my situation, my life is right now. Fuck it.
But then
Here we
it's
are.
the fact that he exposes Emma for the mass, like the shooting, and it's like you didn't. Now everybody knows. Her coworkers are here knowing about that. Like
Charlie just totally melts down and like exposes everything, like exposes her past, exposes like that he just made out with his coworker who's there with her boyfriend
of 3 years.
Yeah, of 3 years. And like is just like trying to say like I don't care about that anymore. I don't care about that anymore. I love you. I love you. I love you. And then like
I just loved when Charlie met Misha and the boyfriend for the first time, right when they were walking to the wedding. Because I didn't know I didn't know that was gonna happen with that later. So when they first met, that tension that was there, that was good.
And then like Charlie even shows like how little empathy he has even more because literally you just caused a relationship to probably end now and like emasculated this man in front of everybody in this room in public, and then when you hear them like arguing about it, you have the nerve to tell them to shut up, so you deserve the whooping that you're about to get. And then there's just like a very quick cut to like now he's walking home alone, or now he's in his apartment, got his butt whooped.
Bloodied.
You know, like
bad.
We don't know what happened. I was like,
something
damn,
bad had to happen worse than like the headbutting thing, because like he was
he was bloodied.
You know what moment was absolutely hilarious that I didn't realize until the second viewing was that like as he's flashing back to like him getting his butt whooped by Misha's boyfriend, the photographer is snapping
all the drama
photos these action shots of him just getting pummeled.
She better.
She said it's a nice to remember, child.
Yes, no, like,
she's like, I'm opening an exhibit with these photos. Like, these are like the juiciest photos.
You know she did that shit, so she could be like, girl, the wedding I was at today.
Photographer is like,
I'd be like, I need those photos. I'd need those photos.
It's like, yeah, she's like, it all makes sense now. Like,
yeah, that should have been all my group chats. Like,
crazy wedding. Like,
she's like,
pretty iconic.
I'm keeping these for myself.
But definitely she had snap those. She had snap those.
Yeah. But yeah, so then it flashes back to like, you know, basically like Emma like, you know, storms out of the wedding or out of the reception.
By the way, her dress, chef's kiss. Her dress
Always.
was beautiful. Beautiful.
You think Zendaya is going to be in some trash?
I mean,
the character's Emma. So
the character's Emma. Yeah, Emma's
look at Rue. Rue being some trash.
So then it kind of comes full circle where he's like playing that song that was hers, and
he's really going. He did a great job in this film.
Robert,
all of a sudden he empathizes with her.
Like all the actors were good. It was a very well cast movie, but Robert Pattinson showed the full spectrum. Like showed everything in this movie, and I really want this. I really want this director to like miraculously like, you know,
fix it,
be able to not be a piece of shit and like do the right things and show that like he fucked up, he's gonna own it, he's gonna go through the ego death so that like Robert Pattinson can get awards or get nominated for this movie, and like I don't have to like dislike it.
No, whatever the director has coming for him, he definitely deserves, but Robert Pattinson's performance does not, for me, not to do with how terrible a person the director is. His performance was complex. He was doing that shit.
Yeah. So,
but even him like afterwards, just like looking, him going to the apartment after, just Robert Pattinson just like sitting and having everything just going through his brain, like you just could see what his character was going through.
Putting on that song.
What I will say is, do you feel that Pattinson or Zendaya have an obligation to speak on like what's come out about the director and, you know, condemn it or just give their genuine opinion on it? Because like maybe that should factor into like, you know, the award consideration or anything like that.
Maybe just denouncing it, but I don't think that they have the obligation to go too deep into it because they didn't commit the crime. But definitely not just tossing it under the rug. Denouncing it would be a good thing, like being like, hey, like just so you guys know, I didn't know about this and I don't agree with it.
Yeah, but
just
a
little statement.
Like, you know, they're very powerful people in the industry, and lots of other actors are going to listen to them, and like this person may be able to like ascend further without properly atoning for it, because Zendaya and Robert Pattinson kind of like just let it slide.
Oh, that sucks. I know they're pissed.
Sucks. I just feel like,
They're
especially for
pissed.
Zendaya, I'm just like, I just think she is the biggest star of the film. Let's call it spade a spade. She is the biggest one out of the star. So I feel like we're all looking for her. I personally, if I were her, I don't freaking know. I don't know. I just think that.
But you make such a good point. It's like, yeah, like, do you want to have that on your conscience that you're just gonna let this director escalate and like continue to like on with his career without like denouncing him as being the biggest actress like of like our time?
But again, I feel like that plays into like I feel like there's just so much pressure on black women to hold.
But then that's what I'm saying. That's why it's not. I completely agree with that. It's not fair.
But it also like it's not like. These are the type of things that we should say. Like, it's not about like this is not about your race. This is not about like the groups that you belong to. It's person to person. It's
being a
every
human.
single person has this obligation. This is as a person.
No, but I'm saying I just feel like I'm sure in her mind,
yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know her, nor am I her. I'm just saying if I were her as a black gay man, I'm just like, damn. I feel like I always have to be the one champion. I always have to be one to put my foot forward. But right is right and wrong is wrong.
So then. Because they mentioned at the very beginning about like, oh, what if we like went to this diner at the end because we're too nervous to eat? Like it'd be like the Oscars where
I love that how they say like how Oscar people go to In-N-Out.
Yeah,
I love how Michael B. Jordan actually did that.
Well, that's the thing. No,
that was so cool.
Before him. Like that's a tradition. Like,
Hilary Swank did. Yeah. But I'm just saying like I love it. Just happened though. I thought.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
It's good timing.
Yeah, it was just good timing.
Yeah. And so he goes to that diner and. It's the like kind of like he's like staring outside. He's like, will she show up? Will she show up? And then she does. And, very true to her character, she sits down and
gives him another chance.
Gives him, says, let's start over.
I hate that.
And
you
I mean,
he cheated on her.
I think
she didn't shoot anyone. He cheated on her.
Even
like, the week of their wedding. Like, are you serious?
I think the biggest reason that I can't like see this as like a happy ending, even though I did feel like the warmth in that moment where I was like, oh, it's nice that they're like
that's how you felt
that they can
moment. Yeah, you want it because you want to root for like a happy
you're seeing
ending.
These two like sad destroyed people.
I just thought it was funny
to see them like like her be able to forgive him. Like there is something very sweet and touching in like the power of that empathy, but in this situation, like he has showed every indication that he is not a real partner. He does not care about the real person. He prioritizes like the perception of what they look like to everyone else.
No, but I feel like that's what I didn't feel warmth at the end though, personally.
No, but I kind of did, but I hated it. I hated every second
felt
of
like
the fact that I felt warm.
This is awkward.
I think the biggest message the director's trying to make with this movie is the powerful, specifically in relationships, the power of forgiveness and the power of just kind of like being able to accept somebody's flaws. And he's romancing that idea, especially towards himself, because now
also how people can change.
Because now he has this like skeleton in his closet that's out there, and like he's gonna try to find a woman one day who he needs to look past this. But bro, like this relationship should not continue.
Charlie and Emma
how are they explaining this to the friends?
Empathy is actually like going to, most likely in all likely scenarios, going to continue to destroy her. And like maybe that is your message. But like at the end of the day, like I don't know, bro. Like you need to figure some things out.
Like that's why the ending like left me with so many like questions that like shouldn't be in the movie because it's like whatever, the movie's done. But I'm like, how are they? Is she fired from her job? Is he fired from his job? What happened to Rachel? Where what did the parents think? Does Emma's dad want to kill Robert Pattinson's character?
No, like when you try to think about like the mess that is waiting for them
that's what
outside of this diner, like he legitimately is probably fired. Like her parents have to hate him. Like his parents might be all tripped up about the school shooting thing and also like think that he's awful and like off. you're I don't see you rebounding with your best friend now, Michael.
Oh no.
Like like you're not gonna like you don't. So now you don't.
Sweating was a bad idea.
I've never been to a wedding that goes like that.
Your whole friend group is probably destroyed.
Your life is destroyed. You blew up your life.
Oh my god! Imagine waking up the next morning Imagine
what
like
I'm
having a
saying.
sleep and then waking up and being like checking your phone and and the photographer posted the pictures of you. You're not going viral.
And honestly, for real, this
Front,
movie,
it's like literally like front page.
news.
Front
Honestly,
page
it
of the
probably
New York
it
Times.
would be like the way these weddings like go viral. Like somebody had to have recorded that.
but like, can you count how? I'm just like, can we date people nowadays? I'm like, that's what I took from the movie.
There is a good.
I'm like, you can't trust motherfuckers.
There is a good message here. in
Good?
that, like, no. I'm saying, like, people are going to have little imperfections, various imperfections from their past. Because think about this. Think about the fact that now that we live in this digital age, like, the things that people used to be able to just, like they said with, like, the photographer that's using all of these different things that used to just be, like, gone. They would get erased. There would not be evidence of every single misgiving or anything. Like kids, all the embarrassing things that happen in school are now like recorded. Like imagine if like the most embarrassing thing you ever did at school was like on the internet.
Oh, that's I feel so bad for
forever
kids like that.
now. Like we are going into this future
This digital
where
footprint.
you cannot outrun even like little minute details about your past and any of these flaws and like changing our barometer on empathy and forgiveness about things that could be seen as like red flags from people's past is going to have to change with it because it was never like that before. We never had literally everything documented our whole lives and just like sitting there waiting for people to go through.
I feel like we're closer in age than you are. But I will say, I just remember growing up when the internet was becoming more and more of a thing, and social media was becoming more of a thing. I was in 7th grade. I'll never forget my teacher saying, "What you put on the internet will last with you forever."
Yeah, they always
and
like
that was in
hammered that into
2007.
us.
So I'm just like,
but
we're now 2026.
No one will ever get that message because at the same time, like you have all these people like live streaming everything and becoming millionaires.
So, but I'm saying, if we
multi-millionaires.
were taught that, then I'm sure they're taught that too. What you do on the internet will stay with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but the thing
so
is,
be careful what you say.
But you may not even be filming it. Somebody could be filming
and
you.
that's fucked up. I never agree
Somebody
with that.
could be
And
filming
that's
you.
Like we with the
completely
meta
legal,
glasses
like-
and everything. The
Yeah.
meta glasses. I'm like,
Oh my gosh,
somebody,
yeah.
oh my god, I was recording you the whole time. I said, I don't like that.
Somebody was recording me the other day. Like some
meta
guy
glass, yeah, I
like
don't like
recorded me,
that.
and I was like, "You recording me right now?" Like
Yeah, like that's
it was.
not okay.
It was.
So if that happens to you, then yes. But I'm just like,
Well, that's like
Not
whether
yes,
you're
let's
doing it
fuck
or
that.
not. Like the point is like yes, like so much more of our ugliness from our past is going to be there on the internet for everybody to look over, for everybody to like make judgments about and like pick apart and decide as like a reason to like dismiss you. And yeah, like we're going to need to be able to be empathetic about that. Like we're going to be able to like.
but there's levels to empathy.
Oh, of course.
There's levels to empathy because I feel like at the end of the day, like yes, but who you are does change. Your paradigm can shift, but your beliefs your beliefs can change. So never mind. Because I was very homophobic growing up, and look how gay I am now. So, but I was raised in the church.
But
I was raised in the church. I was,
and even with like the cancel culture thing, like I think like Emma is a great example in this movie of like how we can see that like if people have like a genuine ego death, and do the right things, like you can be forgiven. This movie makes it seem like there's this like it's totally irrational, like people are going to be tarred and feathered no matter what, and I don't agree with that. I think that like if people do come correct, like people can redeem themselves. People want to believe you're a good person, like, but they can smell bullshit. And you have to be genuine.
You have to do the radical
That's
change.
the hardest thing for a lot of people is like, well, how do I be genuine? Like,
Well, say things like what we said, and like I know I keep bringing up Malcolm X. I just watched the movie. I think I told you like a week ago. But like I think we forget that he like was doing drugs, was dating white women, was a drug dealer.
Well, people love to bring that up on the internet now with like Martin Luther King and how he like cheated on his wife. And
Yes, but
I'm
I'm saying for Malcolm X, like he was dating drugs, like obviously he was doing drugs, dating drugs too. I mean, like he was deep in a relationship with them drugs. But he was like even straightening his hair. He's like, look, my hair looks more white when I do it this way.
Yeah.
But he went to jail, educated himself, and had a full radical.
And
Yeah,
and in
and that's
this,
why,
in this
like-
day and age, like you probably wouldn't be able to do that.
If all that was documented, that
is fair to say.
If all that was documented, if Malcolm X back in that day, of him dating the white women, straightening his hair, selling drugs, doing drugs, if he had that same radical shift where he then became the person that he was, like leading the Nation of Islam, yes, because he admitted I had to change. Mm-hmm. But I guess back in 1950, they didn't know.
Well, no, we're saying like this day and age. We're saying like if it was like now,
would that be like would people still accept him?
Yeah,
right.
It's a lot. Then that and again like. That's why I, will say that I enjoyed this movie. I recommend seeing it because there aren't enough like genuinely thought-provoking movies like this that really get people like talking about like today issues, like things that feel quintessential 2026. Yeah. Like I think there is a huge like gap of things made that reflect what we're going through right now, what we're living in, things that if you watch in 20 years, you'd be like, oh yeah, that feels like that is exactly what 2026 felt like. That those were the issues at that time, because everything else in like both music and the movie industry has been so commercialized to where it's just like, it's so generic. It's just like, another Pixar movie, another Marvel movie.
Like,
it's another like just
remake
like,
of every single
quintessential
movie.
Remake. It's like everything is just
nothing original, no new ideas. This was definitely very.
And I guess I agree with what you're saying. Like it is unfair to hold a 30-year-old to who they were when they were 13.
I think so.
People have to be able to change.
Like I said, I was extremely homophobic growing up.
Yeah.
If you were to speak to me at 13 years old, I would say all gays are going to hell. I would say it's wrong. You're going against God's will of way. Yeah, I would have said that when I was 13 years old. Not I would have. I did.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
Hallelujah.
Thank you so much.
Wait, one more thing. Mm-hmm. So, what's the worst thing you guys ever did?
Done!
It's a very good button on the end of this. Very good. All right, everybody watching at home, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me again,
Jeff.
Thank
you.
I saw the right movie!
Yes!
Marcel Logan, Caitlin Morrissey.
That's who we are.
Peace out.
That's a wrap. We'll see you next time for I don't know what movie, but yeah.
Yes. Bye. Thank y'all.